Well, good morning and welcome to another BHAC-CHAT, another BHAC community chat, and we are today really glad to have Phil Gorfin join us on the couch. Welcome, Phil.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
Oh, it's great that you're here, and we're just going to start with a few quick questions.
Sure.
Are you a coffee or tea person?
Coffee in the morning, tea in the afternoon.
Instant? Are you happy with instant?
I'm okay with instant when I need the coffee shot.
Yeah, you seem a little bit embarrassed to admit
Yeah, no, we do have a coffee machine when we've got the time. You know, make a nice coffee at home. So
But you can do instant.
I can do
so
instant.
So you're not a coffee snob.
No, not at all.
That's good. That's
No,
good.
any caffeine's good caffeine.
Yeah. Are you a hoarder or a chucker?
Much to my wife's horror, I am a hoarder.
There's always one.
Yes.
So she's
In
a
any
chucker.
relationship.
Yeah, she's a chucker, yeah.
Yeah,
And do you prefer to go to the beach or hang out in the bush?
definitely the bush.
Fantastic.
All right, well, you've been in North Turramurra for how long?
So we've been here 9.5 years.
Okay. Now, I don't want to assume anything, but what do you
Sure.
like about
What-
the suburb?
Sure, we love North Turramurra. You know, if we didn't, we wouldn't still be here. I think it's fair to say. You know, it's a great little community. It's, you know, we've got great shop, we've got great infrastructure in terms of the school and the facilities. You know, we're surrounded by bush. We've got the national park at our doorstep. You know, it's easy to get out and go for a walk in the morning just to enjoy what's there. We have family close by, so we've got family in North Turramurra and then others round the place, and then obviously there's facilities, Hornsby and St Ives, Macquarie, Chatswood, very close. So, you know, from all those things make it a great place to live and bring up kids.
The community, I thought, like, when I was thinking earlier that when there was this lockdown, we were supposed to all be in our houses, but everyone was out in the streets walking around, and you know, I felt like there was more people out than I'd seen before. You know?
Yeah, I agree. I mean, it felt like we needed to wear a mask walking up and down Bobbin Head Road at one point in time. There were so many people out there. Yeah.
You are involved with the RFS. We know this is a very bushy area.
I am.
Can you tell us a little bit about how you got involved and what are the kinds of things that you do with them?
Sure. After I left school some years ago, I wanted to do something outdoorsy and in the community, and so I thought that was a good thing to get involved in. It was, you know, there was that or SES, and I sort of thought, well, as a, you know, most men, you know, boys have this idea about riding around in fire trucks and things like that, so...
So you never grew up.
So I haven't grown up, that's right. So 24 years ago.
You couldn't be an astronaut, so you...
That's right. So I joined up, and so, you know, a lot of people see the firefighting aspect of it, but the reality is that that's such a small part of it. Most of it is training and then community engagement and PR activities, getting out there and pushing the message around people being prepared and thinking about the coming fire season and having their plans and preparing their houses. And, you know, we try and get out and engage with the community. People would have seen us over summer down at the shops.
Yes, I did actually see you there, and you gave me a plan. Which
That's
is very
right,
helpful.
exactly right. So, you know, it's a lot about education and raising people's awareness of what they should be doing before the fire season comes. So now's a perfect time to be thinking about it, because, you know, Sydney was very fortunate to miss the fires in the last fire season. They sort of came down the coast, they went round the Blue Mountains and then down, and there weren't a lot of major fires in Sydney. So, you know, people need to be prepared and start now is the message.
What was your summer like? So obviously this was an unusual. So where were you involved?
So this absolutely was a very unusual summer. I hadn't experienced anything like it in my time before. I spent about a month out of 3 over summer away from the family firefighting. So I was fortunate enough to be able to have trips up to Dorrigo and Armidale, out to the Blue Mountains, down toward Goulburn, and then finally down on the south coast, so as well as the fires that were a bit closer, so Turramurra, down at South Turramurra, and then the Gospers Mountain fire out Wiseman's Ferry. It was, you know, it never stopped.
Many, weren't
there were, and it just kept going.
So paint us a picture. If you get called to, say, go to the South Turramurra fire, I mean, what actually happens?
Yeah, so if we talk about that one,
Do you go down a pole?
Just
Like-
quickly, there are no poles, OH&S, all of that.
Of course.
So that day it was forecast to be a bad day. So we were up at the fire station. We'd organised crews for the trucks, and then in the afternoon we got a radio message. Someone had called 000, and then we were radioed to respond our trucks down there, which we did do, and down we went, and we saw the smoke, and we called for more vehicles to come in, and we arrived, and I actually was second truck down there, and we had fire that was burning in the bush, and we had fires that were burning in people's front yards. So essentially I had to ask the crew to put out the fire near the property and focus on that, and then once that was out, then we get on with trying to contain the fire to where it was.
Well, who coordinates the whole, that the plane, the flyover that came with the red stuff, what was it, the red
stuff.
The retardant.
Never get that one right.
Yes.
And how's that all coordinated? Is that you guys, or is that kind of a national?
No, so that's done at a state level. It just so happened that plane had actually been tasked to another fire, and then the one at Turramurra started, and so it was redirected and came over, and it did the retardant drops.
And they said that made it, that if that didn't happen, that would have been a very different scenario.
It may have been. Yeah. You don't really know.
Makes a good news report.
It does. Yes.
I mean, that was a really interesting day, because I think was that extreme.
That was a catastrophic.
Yeah.
Catastrophic, sorry. And I actually didn't even send my kids to school that day, because I was a bit concerned, even though actually by the end of the day, nothing really happened around here. But I suppose that just shows the unpredictable nature of what's going to happen.
That's right.
Do you ever feel afraid in those situations, or are you quite calm?
No, I think we train to look after ourselves and the crew, and making sure that we come home at the end of the day, and we spend a lot of time during the year training so that we're safe, and our priority is our safety, and so we're prepared for that, and we spend a lot of time looking at egress and our safe escape routes and things like that, so that we're not in a situation where things can happen.
Yeah.
And you've got kids. What do you communicate to them about what you do, so that obviously when they're getting so much stuff on the news, it could build up panic and worry?
Yeah, so the boys, because I've been doing it for so long, they've been part of it. They've been up to the fire station. They've seen the training and things like that. So, I don't think they are aware of what happens, and they also are aware of how much we train and what's involved. And so I think from their perspective, they know, how much goes into it. Yeah. And
do they think you're a bit cool?
I don't think so. I'd like to think that, but I don't actually think so, because I think they just think, that's what he does.
Yeah,
so,
he's always done it.
He's always done it, and they've always, they've been up at the fire station and played on the fire trucks and things like that. So
it's a lot cooler than a minister just letting you know. I mentioned about your family. You got 2 boys.
Yes.
Challenges and joys of being a dad. Assuming there are challenges, you might not have any.
Absolutely, there are challenges. So, 2 boys, both at local school, nearly 12 and just turned 8. Yep. So I think the challenge is just understanding what they're developing and what they're going through. As parents, it's a good way just to bring us back down, and make sure that we've got our feet firmly on the ground. So, understanding what challenges that they're having, and helping them through that process, helping them to explore different ways of dealing with issues in the playground and dealing with the social network and things like that they're experimenting with. But the joy of it's getting outside and having that time with them, and having the laughter and the fun, and that's really rewarding. So
memories, aren't they?
Yeah, absolutely they are.
And do you feel like you've had more time together as a family during coronavirus, or less?
Good question. So I would say that both. So for me, I started a new job just after Easter, and so that's had me very much focused on work and things like that. It's been lovely to be in the house and not having to do the commute. And so, being able to have breakfast with the family in the morning and being there, coming out and having dinner at night has been lovely. But there's also been a lot of work that's been being done. So it's a bit strange. It sort of feels like I've had more time, but also I've had less time with them.
Well, thank you very much for joining us today.
No problem. Thank you for having me.
It has been wonderful to have you, and I do hope that thank you for. It sounds cliche, but thank you for all you've done with the RFS. It really, it really blowed my mind just what the RFS were doing over summer, and
it was kind of a renewed appreciation. Wasn't
unbelievable, and you kind of. It's easy to forget at this point when fires are away from our. But it was just really just what was. So thank you, and thank you for joining us. And
no problem.
Yeah,
right. Thank you.
Good. See you.